this is for the one who ain't never had a love, yeah. This one's for the girl who don't feel like she's enough, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for the cool kid playing on the school team, crying to himself cause he never had the prom queen. Head full of wants, but they said it's just a pipe dream, yeah. This one's for the kids like me, they never had one thing. The ladies always turn their cheek, but they ain't let the fat ones sing. This one's for the kids like me, kept working when they had nothing. When people try to take their dreams, they stuck it to them, please don't change. For the nerds and the...
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hangout stream. Alex with you, Alex Costa Show. How are we doing out there? It is January 8th, 2026. And yes, we missed you yesterday. I unfortunately didn't feel well. I had a little 24-hour stomach bug. Just, you don't want to know what was going on. It was not pretty. But I could not make it last night. David couldn't make it. So unfortunately, we had to take the night off. And holy shit, what a day it became. A lot's going on around the country. A lot's going on around the world. We are going to be here, and I am going to try to walk through it, sift through it, and cover it all. Now, some programming notes on the channel and on the show. Like I've said before, I believe that this channel might not be great. It might be a little nuked. And I think that our growth capacity is kind of capped a little bit. So there may be some changes coming up. We might be having a new channel. That's a potential. A new channel, and I will direct everyone to that. And when that happens, I will make a note. It's not going to be a surprise or anything like that. And if I had to go off and cough, I got a little bit going on. I don't know why. Every night, I'm getting a little like chest queasiness and coughing and stuff. So I apologize ahead of time if you see me just going off and hacking up along. I don't know what, I think it's just the weather. It's really weird. We have snow on the ground, but then it's been 40s and then it's cold again, and winter in the Northeast, right? It is what it is. So Nate, what's going on, brother? How are you? But we are going to cover what's going on in Minneapolis, what's going on around the country in terms of the protests, what happened in Portland a few hours ago, also what's going on in Iran, and some other things, because that's what I like to do here on the Hangout stream. Now, as always, if anyone is watching that wants to jump on and talk about the topics with me, you have your own things to talk about, let me know. I'll throw you a link, as long as I don't think you're a psycho. I'll throw you a link, and even if you are a psycho, just, as much as this channel might be going somewhere, try not to nuke it. But all right, let's away we go. We're going to start off with something a little bit on the lighter side. Caveat ties, what's up, brother? A little bit on the lighter side, because 2 days ago, I had mentioned Dan Bongino was back, read a whole bunch of his stuff, and I thought that this was just pointed and funny. So G Prime 85, George Alexopoulos has been on the show before, had this, I thought, pretty funny little box sketches that he does. So I'll just read it real quick. Damn it, the Zodiac killer has struck again. And then there's the cop here on the right. Shake down all the usual suspects. Interview the VIX family and lovers. Get me his win-loss ratio in Fortnite. Query the VPN. Screenshot the Discords. And then the bottom left here. You're going to need new tires with all that spinning, sir. But don't worry, help has arrived. And the cop goes, oh, thank goodness, the FBI. And then there's a big picture of Dan Bongino. Even better, I'm a podcaster. So I know we talked about Dan yesterday. I just thought that was funny. I just always think that G Prime is always on top of it. So caveat, what happened yesterday, I wanted to see what was up with the quartering. David couldn't make it. He was going to be the one that watched it, and things came up, and David couldn't pop on. I didn't feel well yesterday, and I just wasn't feeling great. So the quartering one might be in 2 weeks, because we have another interview probably coming up Wednesday. I think so. So the quartering one might come up in 2 weeks, caveat. So we'll see. We will see how it goes. Listen, shit comes up, real world things come up, and that's just how it goes. And we'd rather, ask for forgiveness later, but try to be better, try to continue to be better. But Yep. I just wanted to share this. I thought this one was funny. I thought it was good and on point. And G Prime is always pretty on point. So again, like before we get to the serious stuff, I want to talk about some other things going on because the serious stuff is going to take up most of our time. And I just want to get to some other news before we start getting bogged down about the Minneapolis stuff. Um, was it justified? Was it not? Any and all that stuff. What's going on in Portland? What's going on in Iran? Those are going to be the brunt of it. So I want to get through some of this stuff here. So G&G Geeks and Gamers has the post here. GTA 6 may be delayed again as Rockstar reportedly still can't lock down content. So a few things here. What this means to me, first and foremost, is can't lock down content means they had to change the whole game. The whole entire game is what they had to change because they had some bullshit written specifically for the female to be this girl boss type of bitch. And when they realized the tide was shifting, they had to scrap a ton of it because they knew if they let something like that out, it was never going to sell. It was going to sell, but it was going to be bombed. It was going to be massive initially. People were going to buy it, but it was never going to go down as the game they wanted it to go down to. So, I mean, it's smart in a way, but man, all these delays are going to absolutely fuck it up. So, of course, me comment to myself, Baron Trump will become president before GTA 6 comes out because I think that is true. But, yeah, no, I just this isn't a great look at all. I really think that, again, you can look at it two ways. Are we happy that they're not giving us a broken game? Yes. Because I think we've been asking forever, like, please don't give us broken games. Please just give us games that, are complete. And especially GTA is probably going to charge us $100 for the game. So we'd rather have a game that's, done. But at the same time, this is concerning that it's taken them, over a decade for this game. Now I think it's over a decade and they're struggling this much. So we'll see how it happens, what happens with it, and if it can go forward anymore at all. So on to this. Like I said, we're rapid firing a little bit some other stuff because I didn't want to get into all the heavy stuff right away. But right here, Complex Pop Culture has this. Johnny Knoxville has confirmed that a new Jackass movie is on the way in theaters June 26th. And here's the picture right there. Now, with this, I'm a little concerned because these motherfuckers on Jackass are not young. Okay? It's not like they're in their 20s anymore like they used to be and things like that. Someone might have died in this making. Like, how are they going to make another, how extreme are they going to go is the question. If they continue to go pretty extreme, then we'll be impressed because, again, they aren't young. And someone like Johnny Knoxville doesn't need the money, right? But we'll see. I'll definitely watch a new Jackass movie. It's been years since Jackass has come out with anything, and they were a cultural phenomena when the show came out. It's one of those things that everyone was watching, everyone was doing, trying to create their own videos. Like I remember with our shitty little flip phones that had terrible video quality, just flipping it up and being like, I'm Alex, and this is the blah blah blah, and just go do something dumb. I mean, it'll be cool. So Nate G saying GTA 5 was so good before they nuked 80% of the multiplayer modes. I mean, now GTA 5 survives in like the role playing, right? There's the GTA 5 role playing, which is massive in the online community, which I've never got, but role playing games are massive online. I mean, EVE Online is gigantic. It's one of the biggest things ever. So people have always enjoyed doing that. Caveat Ty is also saying, I think the new guys are doing the stunts. I mean, that would be smart. I'd imagine the old crew's going to do some of them, right? They're probably not going to do as dangerous. They're going to get hurt. But if there's some new guys doing it, that would be pretty cool as like a pass off to a new generation. I would enjoy that. And if they can parlay that into a new Jackass show, which is kind of funny that this is coming on the heels of MTV officially closing, right? Just last week. or what? Yeah, just last week I think they closed, and because Jackass was a major show on MTV. So this is big news. I'll have fun. Nate, you saying is Bam involved? I don't know. I remember like seeing rumors about something with Jackass probably like last year, maybe a little bit longer, and I'm pretty sure Johnny Knoxville was like Bam has to be involved type of deal. Like they were trying to not have him in, and Johnny Knoxville was pretty adamant about having him in. So there's a good possibility that Bam is involved. I know Bam probably needs it because he's been in a bad way for years. It'll be cool to see the old crew kind of back together. I mean, the spinoff of Jackass Wild Boys was fucking hilarious. But there's we'll see. We'll see. They'll probably definitely bring back some oldies and goodies like Party Boy and stuff like that. And I wonder what Steve-O's going to do now that Steve-O is like completely sober and definitely a different man than what he was when he was doing the Jackass stuff. So I wonder how crazy he's willing to go. But Nate's saying, I hope so. Viva La Bam was so funny. Viva La Bam was fantastic. Just watching him beat the ever loving shit out of Phil all the time and the things that he did to his mom and dad, like it was awesome. And it was cool to see Bam also getting CKY, his brother and stuff involved and things like that, because CKY was just something that us skateboarders and stuff growing up, we all listened to CKY and different types of punk. They were all legendary. Bam was already, it was always good and really cool that Bam was involved in Jackass and all those types of things, because if you like the street skateboarding scene, you already knew who Bam Margera was. He wasn't as big yet as he was with like Jackass, but he was already a professional skater and a good one. He was a very good street skater. So seeing Bam in there was like always cool for the skaters that like, cool. But just like it confirmed like we do an extreme sport and look at Bam. Bam's getting his ass kicked in Jackass. Like it just was all like hyped it up because again, when I was growing up and Nate, I'd imagine you and Rollin as well, we all grew up in similar times and skateboarding was massive. Skateboarding was massive in our time. So yeah, I'm excited. June 26th, so it's right around the corner. It'll be a summer movie. Do I think it's going to make like $1 billion? No, there's going to be a nice niche. I'll be happy if it cracks like 100 mil, but we'll see. We'll see how they market it. Like right now, it's just the announcement. We'll definitely get some fun trailers. And it was crazy. Nate G saying Don Vito, forever a legend. Yes, RIP Don Vito. But I remember when the first Jackass movie was coming out and the first trailer was just them getting fucked up, right? And it was just everything you knew and loved. And then I went to see it in theaters. And the first opening scene when these fucking idiots were just all in the giant shopping cart, barreling down a road, guys diving off, a few of them staying in and just getting fucking wrecked. It was perfect for what the Jackass movie was going to be. And it just gave you like a hint, like they're going to go as big as ever. So caveat scoreboard skateboards being massive was a hint after me. It was big but not huge. Okay, yeah, you were a little more in the start of it probably with all that, but yeah, I mean it was a good time. I'm looking forward to Jackass movie. I'll probably, if I watch the previews and it looks like it'll be funny, I'll definitely probably see if I can go get a few of my friends and go see it. And this is definitely more of like a guy's movie. Like this is the demographic. Like you're not going to get as many women going to see this movie, and they know their demographic. They know their demographic is a bunch of still immature guys that are going to want to go see it. And we're now all older with them, right? We're now all in our 30s and our 40s. And we used to love watching these idiots do what they did. So we'll all be the ones going back in. Like I said, if this thing tops $100 million, I'll be awesome. Be really cool for them. So, all right. What do we got going on next? Oh, I thought this was interesting. So we're going to jump into a little bit of sports stuff here because John Ziegler, friend of the show, he's has this saying this clip is apparently at least a year old, which I didn't know. But he says it's by far the greatest breakdown of the dangerous path the NFL is heading down. Coming from a former player, Matt Light might be a genius. So let's see what he has to say, because I watched this and I thought that this was absolutely correct for the most part, too.
The league has a real problem, a legit problem on their hands, and it's being masked by FanDuel and all these gambling sites, right? Because the revenue's still coming in, but the passion, the average fan, and the rabid fan has left the game in droves, and that's not a good thing for football.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at it in terms of jersey sales and all that other stuff. Like, there's only so much that the Swifties can do. Okay.
And he has a point there. He has a point, because I know, like, I used to sit down and watch every single game. And it was a point to me. And it wasn't like every game, but like every single game the Jets played. I watched the Jets win or loss, whether they were on at 1, 4, Sunday night, Thursday night, Monday night. I needed to be in front of the TV to watch them. And some things have changed. Like, obviously I'm married. I have 2 kids now, so they have to do things, and I want to be around them. And, sometimes it takes away from watching the game, and it is what it is. But there's something there, right? Because I used to be super passionate about the game. I played the game. I love the game. And there's just something about it now where I'll sit down and watch it and still truly enjoy football. Like right now, the college football playoff is going on. But it has a problem. And Caveat Ty saying that's why they push for gambling hard. You have a point here, and let's hear what Matt has to say about all that.
Okay, like keep going down that road. See how that pans out. You know what I mean? Like, we need football playing Jesse. We need to bring the violence back. We need to allow these guys to blow people up over the middle. I mean,
we can't though. We as players sued the owners,
and right there. Julian Edelman tries to make the point, and Matt Light's correct that we need to get hitting back, right? We need to get hitting back. Julian Edelman brings that up. Let's see what Matt Light has to say to that.
So the owners are going to sit there and say, we're changing the rules.
Yeah, but not really, though. I mean, the lawsuits you're talking about are more on the concussive side. Yeah, those were in play long before, and those are just a function of doing business. Like
now, it's funny. It seems like, Matt Light is it obviously seems like a thoughtful dude that understands business. I don't want to know what Matt Light is doing in retirement, but like the way he's speaking about it, at least, this seems like a dude that's not talking out of his ass, that has a good idea of what's going on, a good idea of what he's saying. Caveat Ty saying, I've only watched a few games the last decade, but the Broncos have been bad for a while. Yeah, I watched the Jets when they were bad. I'm a Jets fan. They're always bad. But I watched the Jets even when they were bad. It's just something right now. It's just like, not as interested. Let's keep going.
Think about all these industries and how they mitigate risk, right? It's all insurance. It's all a game, right? Like, I can go out and have an event where we shoot a lot of guns, and we do. And there's a higher probability of chaos there versus on a field, right? Cheap insurance. So you can insure against everything.
So what you said there too, they go out and fire guns. I guess that's something he does, and they do things like that, and they show it off. And it's true. You can get pretty easily insured for a gun show and stuff like that. There's plenty of things around. So the insurance side of things, like he's saying, like there's kind of that like, the insurance is bullshit type of thing.
It's not that. There's always been people trying to sue the league. The league knows how to get around that. Yeah. They changed the game fundamentally after 2011 CBA, the last one I was a part of.
Yeah.
That changed the game, and as you know, they can't practice, they don't hit, and they can't get their bodies ready. And where you see it most is in the line play.
And I have been saying this for years. For years, since they started the whole entire, they don't hit, they don't go fast. And then what happens? We get to week 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there is a ton of non-contact injuries. We see a boatload of non-contact injuries. And why is that? Because, as an athlete myself, practice is supposed to be harder than the game. The practice isn't supposed to be super easy. Because if practice is easy, then you're not physically ready to go and compete in that game as hard as you need to. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a push and pull. Practice shouldn't always be boom, 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 100%. But you need to get what's called game ready. You need to be able to sit there and be physically with endurance, with the physicality, especially in football, to be ready to go and deliver a hit properly, take a hit properly. There's an art to knowing how to get hit, how to fall. If you're not getting hit, then you're not going to, be okay with that. If you're not cutting full speed, and I'm not talking about cutting full speed just in a drill, right? Because that is calculated. There's nothing, there's no adversity when you're doing a drill, as opposed to when you're playing in the chaos of a game, whether it's football, soccer, basketball, hockey, any of these contact sports, lacrosse. If you're not going in the chaos and the uncertainty of what an opponent can do, you can't truly simulate planting that leg. You can't truly simulate really lowering that shoulder and the angle coming in a little different than you think. And all that stuff you can't simulate if you're not going hard, if you're not getting hit, if you're not in pads. And he talks here about the O-line play. And it's been true, and commentary has said it. O-line play has been terrible for years now. It's been really bad for years. So Matt Light is 100% correct. Caveat Tai saying, I think they could extend the season by creating another bye week for each team. They could, but the thing is, they're going to go to 18 games in general. So it's going to happen. They might give another bye and extend and all that type of stuff. Random fucking raccoon, what's going on? What are we talking about today? So we're going to cover the Minneapolis stuff, the Portland stuff, what's going on in Iran as well. But I'm just covering some lighter stuff right now, Raccoon. We talked about the Jackass movie coming out, GTA 6 getting delayed already. And now we're watching a video from a former lineman talking about what's going on in the NFL. So we're going to continue with that.
Because that's the guys that need it the most. You guys can go run routes and do technical stuff, right? And get yourselves right for the most part, although they still need more work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of sloppiness, man. There's a lot of line of scrimmage bullshit. Like there's a much better product 5-10 years ago on the field from an execution standpoint.
Yes, there is.
Tommy was saying that. He got in trouble for saying that.
And he was right, and he was saying.
And they said, Tommy was saying that talking about Tom Brady. And Tom Brady has been critical even while he was playing, even while he was still playing. He's been critical of the line. He's been critical of not being able to get hit because he's always been a guy, and it's funny coming from Tom Brady, who whined about every hit, right? But he was a guy that would say, like, being a quarterback, it's part of it is getting hit. There's that part of stepping up into the pocket and knowing you're about to get shellacked. And again, as a quarterback, there was an art to knowing how to take a hit when you're about to throw the ball. These guys were taught how to properly protect themselves while throwing the ball and take a hit. Now, there's some brutal hits that happen, but that's a product of playing the game. Random Raccoon saying, what else is new about GTA 6 being delayed? That's true. They're always delayed. And part of it, Raccoon said that the delay was due to they can't iron out the content. That just says to me that they had a girl boss type of game. And the girl boss type of game wasn't going to fly, so they needed to change shit, and they can't do it right now. So we might be like another 5 years away at least from a game if they have to revamp the whole fucking game. So, back on Matt Light.
And that almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember having that conversation with him. He's like, it's so easy right now. It's so easy. And I'm not saying it was easy in terms of we're going to win every game kind of mentality, but in terms of what it takes, all I'm saying is that they did all of it. All the rule changes.
And to what Tom Brady's saying, like, it's easy right now. I mean, he's saying it's easy in terms of the sense of we don't get hit in practice. As a quarterback, he could barely get hit in games. Like, there's an ease to what they had to do in terms of preparing for the game. Because, again, a guy like Matt Light, a guy like Tom Brady, a guy even like Julian Edelman, came from that old school in college where you hit a ton, where you played a ton. Even in pros, you played a ton, you hit a ton, you did all that. So there is There's a lot of truth to what's being said here. We got a little bit over a minute.
Everything the league did to get their 17th game, and they're about to get their 18th.
Yes, they will.
It
No,
wasn't
because they want to have that Super Bowl at President's Day.
It wasn't
Super Bowl
about
President's Day,
player safety, health, and wellness. I'm not saying they want to see guys get hurt. I'm just telling you, we were floated this idea that all the changes were centered around making the game safer.
And again, I've said it forever. The thing with making the game safer, he's right. It was never about that. Because if you want to make the game safer, then you don't add fucking games. Like, that just always made no sense to me. People would argue it. Like, oh, they are trying to make the game safer. Like, how are you making the game safer by adding extra games that count? Like, they took away a preseason game. But now they're adding, an extra game, and they're going to add an 18th. So that's making it safer by adding another 120 minutes of full-fledged football. Like, it always made no sense. And it never did. And Matt Light's true. It was always about getting those extra games. Caveat Ty saying it might be a wimp, but I don't care about seeing hits. See, I do. I like the hits. And the reason why I like the hits, it was better back then because there was actual form. You weren't delivering a good hit without good form most of the time. And now guys don't give a shit about form. There's no technique in football anymore. It is very rare. It's very rare you see guys with good technique. Caveat Ty saying, I like the build up and payoff of a good game. Agreed. But what counts as a good game though, Caveat, right? Because to me, a good game can be that high scoring 35, 40 point game with both teams, as well as it could be that 13-10 game, right? Because even though you're not getting great offense, if the defense is doing a masterclass, to me, that's a good game too. Or if it's just a tough game where both teams are beating the shit out of each other, there is no give. But the execution is there at times, and then it's not at others because both teams are having a good chess match. It's not that it's a sloppy bad game, but it's just a tough football game. That's a good game too. You don't get as many of those. When you used to be able to see a really good game that was 17-14. And it wasn't that offenses were playing terrible. It's just that the execution was so high that neither team could get one up on each other. They would go from, they'd start at the 20, they'd get to the 40 or the 50. Okay, they'd have to punt. And the other team gets it. And it would be just a field position battle of teams playing well, but on both sides of the ball. And that was because of superior technique, superior physicality. And all that comes together when you can't practice, when you can't take hits. It doesn't, you aren't getting there. And the hits come, and the thing about Caveat, when the hits come naturally when you're playing the game properly. It's not a product of seeing the hits to see the hits. When you're playing the game properly, those hits come because you put yourself in the right position. And right now, defenders can't put themselves in the right position because if they get in the right position and they deliver a big hit, they get flagged for it. So now defenders are consistently out of position, giving up big plays because they don't want to get flagged for 15 yards. It's wild what it's become. Brandon fucking Raccoon personally wish that American football is a little more brutal. I agree. Aussie Rules football is more brutal right now. I love Aussie Rules watching it. They're fun. Caveat, yes, I agree, even with or without the hits. True. Caveat ties. Ravens Steelers is a perfect example of a tense game and missed field goal at the end. And AFC North football, especially Ravens Steelers, the officials bite their, swallow their whistles a little with those two because they know how brutal the AFC North is. And if they made all the calls that they would make in normal games, they would just have to throw a flag every play. Like, those are brutal football games. Caveat ties. I don't hate the hits. I'm just indifferent. And that's fine. That's fine. You just want to see good quality football. And I don't blame you. And maybe because I don't have a quarterback, I don't care. But when you have a quarterback you want to protect, maybe you want to see just, if the hits happen, they happen. But if not, all right, let's keep going.
Making the game safer. And the game is not safer if
isn't.
you look at it from a rate of injury.
Yeah.
The rate of injuries has actually gone up. Soft tissue, all that stuff. They can tell you anything they want. I'm telling you, the numbers would prove that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you see guys sitting out all the time now for little things. And the fact that they made like the 4-game IR has made it worse. It's made it worse. The 4-game IR hasn't helped at all.
And you don't even have to have the inside scoop on it. You can just watch it. Look at how many of the starters and the backups. And by the way, if you're a backup today, you haven't taken a real live rep maybe since training camp.
And that is a problem. That's a problem. Because as a backup, it quite literally is your job to be ready to go if a guy goes down. And then what Matt Light just said makes it miraculous how good some backups play. Because if they haven't taken a live rep and now you're getting in, I mean, I played at the high school level. I didn't even play at the college level. But I can't imagine the speed of the game at the college level, D1, D2, D3, whatever. Imagine stepping up to the pro level. Like, it would be incredible. Now being a backup, not taking a real rep, and then jumping in, and the game moving as fast as it is, it has to be wild. I think having more games doesn't help. It doesn't. It can't help. It can't. It's on the field. Agreed. And Raccoon, a lot of that goes with, too, the salary cap. These athletes are getting paid so much more, and owners just don't want to see them get hurt. So they're willing to do these rules in the name of safety, plus to also get that extra game and make more revenue. So there's a double-edged sword. So they're paying these guys all this money, plus they don't want to see them get hurt. So it all compounds. Caveat ties, even going back to 12, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. The season can get long. It can.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's not enough time. So it's a problem, man.
Or padded practices.
They can't hit 2 days in a row. We hit twice in one day.
Could get 2 days, baby.
2 different sessions. So what I'm saying is
Missed
all
2
that
days.
stuff was done because they wanted to get their 17th and 18th game.
Yep.
And yes, there's more revenue out there.
You
It's
put
all money.
something in front of the guys. Hey, we'll
Yeah, we're not going to be hitting as much.
we won't hit as much.
Yeah, we're going to take away a preseason
And you
game.
get them in the back end with that 18th game.
And by the way, I could care less. You want to get 17 and 18 games, negotiate it, get it done like anybody else. And they did. They finally got it done. Pay the guys. That's fine. But don't do what you're doing because you keep going down this road.
All right, so there's that. Am I breaking? Caveat, am I choppy? Guys, let me know. Nate, Raccoon, am I choppy? Let me know if I'm choppy. It could be. I have a bunch of fucking tabs opened up with a bunch of videos. So it could be that I have 7 million tabs. And that might not be helping. I think I have a mic problem. I hit it. Maybe. Let's see my connections here. Raccoon saying I'm fine. Caveat might be you. Because nothing is saying wrong with my connection. I'm checking my connection here. My connection says it's okay. I don't know. We're going to keep going on, though. Because we have some other things going on around the world. Before we get to Minneapolis, before we get to Portland, which Portland's still developing. I don't have much on Portland. Before we get there, we're going to jump to Iran. And I just, no, everyone's saying I'm fine and stuff. No sound for Caveat. Oh, no. Caveat, you got to get the sound back. What'd you do? If you can't hear me, I'm going to cry. But so, sharing this tab right here from Visegrad 24, Iranians have had enough. They want the regime to fall. So we covered this a few nights ago. Iranians protesting. They are, I think we covered it almost last week. They are still protesting. So let's see a little bit about what's going on. I have a few videos of this. Not the leftist libs protesting right now. That, with the Iranian regime, that is bravery right there. Excuse me, I burped. Oh, shit. So, we have that video. We're going to jump to this one over here. More, Visegrad again, breaking. The Iranian anti-regime protesters in Tehran have now arrived at Peruzi Street and are just a few hundred meters from the central command staff of the IRGC near the Shahada Square in Tehran. It's the IRGC's headquarters for the Iranian capital city. And again, this is kind of holy shit stuff, okay, guys? Because the IRGC will kill these people. Let's see it. So we have that one. And again, big deal. Random fucking raccoon saying I haven't seen protests like that in a long time. I mean, It bubbles up every once in a while in Iran, but this one seems a little more serious than normal. Caveat ties, you switched earbuds. Think you're good now? Good. Let me know. I hope you can hear me. Tell the earbuds to cut the shit. Okay? Tell them to cut the shit. But we have that. And then we're going to go over to here, which I didn't even know this place existed. Israel War Room. I didn't even know it was a fucking thing. But it's right here. Breaking reports emerging from Iran indicate that in Fars province, protesters have overrun and taken control of an IRGC facility. So this is them breaking into it. Again, the bravery of these people getting into an IRGC facility. Like, the IRGC is brutal, guys. The IRGC is brutal. They will kill these people. But they want their country. And I mean, I don't think people realize just how actually important the Iranian regime toppling is. Because let me get on my soapbox here. With what's going on in Venezuela, which I'll have some updates on the Venezuela stuff. I'll pull that up in a second in terms of what we're getting and what's going on in Venezuela. But Venezuela, you know, them coming to us, or being taken by us, not coming to us, but kind of being taken and becoming a colony essentially. And then on top of that, us getting things from them, us trading with them, us embargoing and holding those embargoes. A Russian tanker was seized that was trying to get away with the oil. Shit's heating up a little bit. But taking Venezuela, like I said the other night, it hurts Russia, it hurts China. If Iran falls, if Ayatollah Khamenei is gone, and they can get, God, I don't know what the vacuum is going to be there when Khamenei goes, right? Because this is natural, but these revolutions don't always go the way we want. Apparently, they want the Shah back. I can't say I know enough about the Shah to say if I'll be happy about that or not. But just Khamenei going. And if they select a leader that ends up being friendly to the West, because I'm pretty sure the Shahs were friendly to the West, that changes everything again. Because now Iran does less deals with Russia. Iran does less deals with China. Iran isn't destabilizing the region. They're not supplying money to Hamas and other terrorist factions. And these factions now have to figure out something to do. They're not going to be the stronghold for the Muslim Brotherhood anymore. There's a lot that changes with Venezuela and Iran, two countries that Iran's been important for a while, but I don't think people realize just how important geopolitically Venezuela was. And just with these two countries, one being essentially colonized, the other internally doing it, and I don't doubt that our CIA was involved, right? I'm not ignorant to that, that the CIA wasn't involved. And I'm hoping that if they are involved, they don't fuck it up like they usually do, right? The CIA obviously did good work with Maduro. As much as I'm not a fan of the CIA because they have fucked up many of things, I can give them their flowers when they do obviously really good clandestine work over in Venezuela with Maduro. And if they are running this, helping to run this revolution, this operation over in Iran, and they're successful, maybe we're seeing a change in the way Trump runs things. Maybe we're seeing an international spy agency that truly does the job better than it ever has. This is one of those things that maybe we haven't seen regime change done right. And no, this is not me saying I champion regime change. I'm not a fan of regime change. It hasn't gone well. It hasn't. And it usually doesn't. But if this is organic in Iran, it's going to be helpful. As long as they put someone that's friendly to the West, and we'll see. We'll see. But I know that they are monitoring it. I know President Trump has given his words of encouragement. He said that if Khomeini and Iran start shooting and gunning down their own people, that United States will put boots on the ground. And that has fucking terrified Khomeini. Because when the United States bombed their nuclear facilities, that sent the message that we will do this type of shit. So let's go back. And Iran's important, and we will keep on monitoring the things going on in Iran. But we must jump to this right here. So I'm going to start off by reading this tweet from Homeland Security about the issue in Minneapolis, because this is the, for lack of a better terms, the official narrative about what happened. And I say narrative because it's what the government has put out. So let's read it and let's see what they have to say. So Homeland Security. Today, ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorism. An ICE officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers. The alleged perpetrator was hit and is deceased. The ICE officers who were hurt are expected to make full recoveries. This is the direct consequence of constant attacks and demonization of our officers by sanctuary politicians who fuel and encourage rampant assaults on our law enforcement, who are facing a 1,300% increase in assaults against them and an 8,000% increase in death threats. This is an evolving situation, and we will give the public more information as soon as it becomes available. So, man, this is deep. This is deep. The protesters got what they wanted. If you've ever read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, they want this. They are willing to let one of theirs die to get their goal. An ICE agent killing a protester, even if it was in self-defense, is a good thing for their movement. Caveat Ty saying, no more old governor. South Dakota has some influential folks. They do. South Dakota does. Kristi Noem, even though she is more plastic than this laptop I'm talking to you guys on and everything right here, she's done a pretty good job there. Random fucking raccoon. Sadly, many people normalize death threats nowadays. It's allowed if it's on the right people. Didn't you know that? Random raccoon. So it's not surprising. Yep. So I was debating on showing these, but I think we kind of have to show what happened. And if YouTube gets mad at me, they get mad at me. Because people should see a bunch of angles of how this went on. And this is a tragedy. Make no mistake. The death of an individual, an American citizen, anyone, even though she was a protester and she's 1,000% in the wrong, this is a tragedy. Period. It's unfortunate that this woman lost her life. It's rather unfortunate. Now, she needs to be held account for her actions, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that it's a tragedy. That I would much rather have seen her get taken into custody for interfering with the lawful federal operation. So a random fucking raccoon says, honestly, YouTube ironically lets porn on their site despite claiming to make things child friendly with needing personal info, despite there being a YouTube kid. So if YouTube gets mad at you, oh well. I mean, yeah, YouTube, the only reason YouTube would truly get mad at me, raccoon, is because they might listen to a thing I say and I'm not on their side. That's it. But that's also why if I get taken down here on YouTube, I'm also on Rumble, Kick, Facebook, X. So Rumble and Kick are obviously two places that aren't going to take me down here. So if you ever see this channel get taken down on YouTube, you'll also find us over on Rumble and on Kick. But like I said from the top, Raccoon, I don't know if you were here, caveat, there may be some changes coming because I'm almost convinced that this channel is pretty dead in a lot of ways. So we might be making a switch. Have I ever considered Twitch? Yes, I have. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Twitch is a lot more lenient. I might go to Twitch as well. I might. Twitch may be one that I go to. I might do because where I am with Restream, what I have, I can stream to 5 places at once. So because caveat saying my chat just disappeared. Any reason for that? No, I have no idea why your chat just disappeared. I don't know what you said. I didn't see it. No idea why your chat disappeared. But yeah, I might consider not using X because I don't get shit from X really. And just going over to Twitch and seeing how Twitch goes. So yeah, there's a lot of people there. Caveat Ty saying Twitch I thought is more strict. It is with some. But I mean, Asmongold gets away with whatever the fuck he wants over there too. And Asmongold is not giving a shit about a lot of their terms of service. I think YouTube is a little more strict on a lot of things still. With certain things you could say. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to see what Nick's order had to say. And we're going to watch a few of these angles. So Nick's order, and this happened yesterday. Breaking, video shows the moment a woman tried to run over ICE agents with their vehicle in Minneapolis, resulting in her being shot, this is the proper way to put it, Nick's order did. Nick Waltz calling the ICE a Gestapo is exactly why this stuff happens. Shame on Waltz and Mayor Fry. And he couldn't have said it better because it is their fault. People like ICE, people like any of us who support conservatives, not just even Donald Trump, my whole life that has been conservative, we've been called every single dehumanizing name possible. So to them, we are not people. And this is okay. Random fucking raccoon. Twitch has a higher chance of banning you for things, but they are oddly more lenient with most things. So yeah, listen, I take the risk of getting banned all the time. So it is what it is. If I get banned, I get banned. I'll try somewhere. So let's watch what happened here. Some graphic language and stuff.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
Agents are telling her to get out of the car, backs up, goes forward, gets shot, and then runs into something. So you couldn't see the shots there. But there's better angles of what happened. But the bottom line is, you can clearly hear them saying, get the fuck out of the car. Because she's impeding. And make no mistake, they're trying to say she's not a protester. That's what the leftists are going with right now. She is a protester. These people are trained to protest. They are trained to be nuisances and block these federal agents. They've been doing it with their bodies. They've been doing it this way. And it is illegal. It is illegal to block a federal operation, a lawful federal operation. You can't do that. But again, these leftists want to do these petty illegal things because they want the overreaction. Now, this one's not an overreaction. She tried to run him over. Whether it was advertent that she did try to, or she was attempting to flee and didn't notice he was in the way and still would have ran him over, and then fearing for his life, he shot her. Random fucking raccoon saying, as long as you do not show blood or direct nudes on Twitch, you won't get banned. Yeah, no, we could just be an ethot and just put a camera under our ass on a clear fucking seat or green screen on our ass. They're gross over on Twitch. Caveat Ty saying, I did use the word ammunition. That might have got it deleted. It didn't get it deleted this time, so who knows? Who knows what you said? There's dumb things on YouTube about what you can and can't say. So there's that angle. So now this is a different angle. Now, again, this one shows the weapon being drawn. It doesn't show anyone actively getting shot and killed, but this is a different angle. So we're going to take this chance. New video has surfaced showing a better angle of the incident today in Minneapolis. The driver clearly accelerated as an ICE agent was in front of the car. So he discharges weapon in self-defense. So let's see. So there she's blocking it. They're getting out. So she's saying go around. And the reason she's saying go around is because she knows what she's doing is wrong. And this definitely, and here's the thing. These ICE agents more than likely would not have gotten out of their car to go and grab her if she wasn't consistently doing this. If it was just a situation where she was just caught in the middle of the road, oh, I'm sorry, I was making a U-turn, I didn't see you, they would probably have beeped and she would have gone on her way. They're not getting out of the car this annoyed with somebody if this is the first time that they did it. Random fucking raccoon. I feel like I wouldn't last on YouTube for very long because I say whatever I want except the M word or slurs unless needed. I mean, there's some people that drop N-bombs all the time. So you might be able to get away with that. Let's see. So they're telling her to get out. She backs up to run away and then accelerates here. And boom, boom, boom. There's the death. There's the death. And it's tragic. It's tragic. But she clearly accelerates with that individual in front of her, and he defends himself. Random raccoon saying thing is I'm white, so yeah, that likely wouldn't fly. No, there's white people that say it on YouTube, and they have decent sized channels. White people that say it all the time, so you'd be okay. So there's a few more angles. I'm not gonna watch it. That was a good angle right there. We saw what happened. What I want to get to right now is I want to get to some of the retarded reactions. Some of the good ones, some of the retarded ones. One of the king retards is the Krasensteins. There is, sorry, Brian Krasenstein and his brother Ed Krasenstein, which are two people who are dumb as a box of rocks, okay? These two guys are dumb as a box of rocks. They have surface level knowledge of everything. They are paid, obviously, by Elon to be up there. I don't know why Elon probably keeps them around to just be confrontational. I give them credit. They went on Timcast where they knew they would get torched, so they didn't be as flamboyant as they normally are. But let's see what Brian Krasenstein has. So this person he's positioning himself as he's not fighting against anything. Number one, Brian Krasenstein's not going out anywhere doing anything. He is just, you want to talk about people inflaming things and causing problems? This shit is inflaming everything. People like him, because you have a bunch of morons, and I guarantee he's on Blue Sky too, and wherever the Mastodon and all that bullshit. They are inflaming these psychos to go and do these things, these protesters to go and do these things. So let's continue. Minneapolis witness Emily Heller said she woke up to a commotion outside her home. She said she saw a car blocking traffic on Portland Avenue that appeared to be part of a protest against federal law enforcement officers. Heller heard ICE agents telling the driver, a woman, to get out of here. And again, if you listen to it, they're clearly saying, get out of the car, get the fuck out of the car. Not get out of here, get out of the car. She's quoted as saying she's trying to turn around and the ICE agent was in front of her and he pulled out his gun and put it right in like his midriff was on her bumper because she hit him. And he reached across the hood of the car and shot her in the face 3 or 4 times, Heller said. Heller said it appeared the woman then accelerated and traveled about 100 feet before striking a utility pole and some other vehicles. She could be seen slumped over inside the car. So, you only read that, you're pissed, right? Because it makes it seem like they went there and it was an illegitimate thing. And this witness is basically saying that she was killed unfairly. Now, what Krasensteins and idiots like Brian and his brother don't account on is people putting out things like full videos. So before we get to that, random raccoon, yeah, true, the PewDiePie incident, but even still, I won't say it out of morals, not because it is the M word per se, but just because it is considered a slur, and yeah, also semi-cause it is the M word. Here's the thing. I don't care what people say and how they say it. We put an emphasis on a word, and then we allow people to be violent because of it. It's fucking stupid. I mean, it's a word that I choose to generally not use. It's it's not in my vernacular because it's not very necessary, right? Um, but at the same time, people should be allowed to say whatever the hell they want, offensive or not. And if you're offended by it, that doesn't give you the right to put hands or hurt somebody. Like if someone wants to be a racist or a bigot or anything like that, they can. As long as they don't act upon it. As long as they keep that shit to themselves for the most part, and it doesn't change the way they act to people and how they treat people, how they work with people, how they do things. It's terrible. You know, the way we've allowed one word to give people a like license to be violent and shit like that. It's dumb. Random fucking raccoon. It's called manipulating the story and relying on witnesses' stories, which is proven to not be fully reliable on every detail, unless in certain situations. Makes them look like a victim. Random raccoon saying no, like if I was being a racist, that legally doesn't give them the right to murder me. No, but here's the thing, raccoon. Like I said, what Brian did an account on is this woman actually telling the story. So Kanekoa the Great has witnessed the deadly ICE incident. She was the main car leading the protest. She was very successful in blocking traffic. So it looked like she was impeding federal officers. Definitely, yeah, that was her goal. So let's see. This is the exact woman that Brian Krasenstein was talking about. Let's see what she has to say. 2 minutes and 29 seconds.
I woke up to some commotion. I heard some whistles going on out front, so I came downstairs to see what was going on. Wasn't even dressed. And there was a car, the Honda Pilot that's crashed over there now. There's a car blocking the 2 lanes of Portland traffic.
So again, this is exactly what Brian Krasenstein was saying, and she's pretty accurate with it right now.
And the ICE agents got out and they were saying, get out of here, get out of here. And she was what looked like...
And again, that was her thing. When I was hearing it, I was hearing him saying, get the fuck out of the car. Okay, not get out of here, get out of the car. That's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. And you guys can tell me if you guys have watched a video of you here. But I was hearing them say, get out of the car. Get the fuck out of the car. That's what I was hearing them say, not get out of here. So let's keep going here.
She was trying to turn around. And the ICE agent was in front of her car. And he pulled out a gun and put it right in, like his midriff was on her bumper.
And again, like this is an eyewitness, but you can, when you see the video, I didn't see beforehand, right? I didn't see the before. You only get the video of what happened after she's already blocking, right? I didn't see if it was a case of she was trying to do a U-turn or if she just rode up next to them and just stopped to try and impede them. Now, let's see what this woman has to say.
And he reached across the hood of the car and shot her in the face like 3-4 times. And then she must have just stepped on the gas. She stepped on the gas immediately, maybe got like 100 feet or so and ran into the telephone pole and some cars, and then was slumped over in her car. And you could see she was probably gone.
So again, this is pretty much accounting what Brian said. This part pretty much backs up what Brian Krasenstein was saying, right? That what the agent did, what she was doing, what she was attempting to do, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's keep going.
And there was a medic, there was a neighbor who's a physician who was yelling, can I please check the pulse? There was no first responders. There were 0 first responders. They left her in her car, slumped over for about 10-15 minutes, blocking us all. And eventually EMS got here and they wouldn't let the bus in. So it was just the EMS workers.
Now, again, people are going to hear this part and they're going to be like, this is heartless, right? I don't know what protocol is for federal agents after they were just, one of them believes that they were just attempted murder with the vehicle, potential homicide by vehicle, and then they eliminate that individual. What the protocol is after that? Because after that, you got to be on high alert if you are one of the agents, right? You believe that this individual just tried to kill one of your fellow agents and the people around them are with them, right? So you are sitting there and now you're on edge. I'm not going to let someone go check on her. I don't give a fuck you say you're a physician. I don't know who you are. Get away from me. Now, not letting the EMS bus in there, I don't know, because maybe if it was an active crime scene, I don't know what that point of that was. But again, I don't know the protocol. So let's keep going.
And they checked her out for a second, maybe 5 minutes or so, and then carried her out, no stretcher or anything, carried her out like a sack of fucking potatoes.
Can you describe a little bit about what this woman looked like? Was there anyone else in the car with her? Did you know if she was the target?
I don't know if she was a target. They clearly wanted her out of there because.
So they wanted her out of there. And this is one of the main parts that we need to hear.
She was the main car leading the protest.
Okay. She was the main car leading the protest. So I'm going to be adding my 2 cents here. What that says to me is this wasn't the first time she did this. Because this has been a tactic of these leftists in protest to try and put their cars in front, ram ICE vehicles. So this isn't like, oh, she's innocent. She was leading the protest. Now, again, like you said, a random fucking raccoon, relying on the witness story. Apparently this woman, she knows a lot for someone who just heard a commotion and came down. I kind of thought that when I first watched this. Now we're taking her kind of with the grain of salt. Brian's using one part. We're listening to this. She knows a lot for somebody who just came down. So there is that. We're in the fucking raccoon saying, no, I heard get out of the car too. Brian's biggest enemy is someone telling the actual story. Yes. And also saying, I mean, it's hard to say who's right or wrong here because personally, I didn't fully see if they were truly trying to hit the officer or if the officer was just trigger happy. So there's a lot of videos of different angles. And one of them, so intention doesn't matter because the thing is, she was trying to get away. That was quite obvious. As they were telling her to get out of the fucking car, they were trying to open the door. She puts in reverse to then go forward, right? She was trying to get away. That's number one. She panicked. I think that's fair to say she panicked. She didn't want to get arrested. She knew she was going to get arrested. She didn't want to get arrested. I don't know. I'm going to give the deceased the benefit of the doubt, even though I shouldn't. She's a fucking leftist. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she was focused here on her left side and maybe didn't see the officer who was approaching because there's another video where you see one of the cars does go around her, and that's a gray SUV. The second vehicle, which is the pickup, are the ones that stopped and are like, fuck this, get her out of here. We're going to arrest this woman. And the other officer in the gray SUV was coming around to assist. And then she backed up and went to go and leave. And she floored it because there was a little, you saw, if you look closely at one of the videos, and if you can go find them, they're everywhere. The second angle that I showed, Raccoon, is you see her tires spin a little and then move, and then she starts to go. If the tires grabbed and didn't spin, that guy was going to be under her car. The one that shot her would have been under her vehicle if the tires didn't spin a little. He would have been fucked. So the tires spin a little, and that's when he takes his gun out and shoots her. So whether she saw him and it was intentional, I don't know. I don't know. Nate saying, I heard she was from Colorado and traveled to Minnesota to protest ICE. Have you heard anything? So we're going to read a New York Post article about her travels. Now, she was from Colorado or Kansas City. Like it is difficult because there was an Instagram thing floating around saying Colorado trying out Minneapolis. In the New York Post article we're going to read, she's from Kansas City, moves to Canada, and then moved to Minneapolis. There's a lot. We haven't found out all the details about this yet. We're in the fucking raccoon saying, definitely fair to say regardless whether her intention was... Am I gone? Am I gone? Did they get to me? Am I back, y'all? What happened? Did my stream get booted? Let's find out. So it looks like my stream might have gotten knocked off. No, I'm still here. Okay. You're back now. Can I repeat myself? Okay. Oof. All right. I'm happy I didn't get booted. Maybe something just happened. No, I was just reading Raccoon. I was just reading off some of your comments here. So we'll keep going. I'm happy I'm back, guys. I'm happy they didn't get to me. They didn't get to me. You guys, we're back, team. All right. So let's keep going. Let's see what more she has to say.
She was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there.
And again, so she was a protester, blocking traffic. She was good at it. So I told you she probably had some training. She probably had some training as to how to do this.
Yeah.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
That was her goal.
Do you have a read on her demographic?
I think she was a white woman. Looked like, I didn't see her when she was alive, just slumped over in the car. It looked like she had dyed short curly hair. I have a video of her in the car. But yeah, no other.
So the thing is, number one, I feel bad for this woman. Right off the jump, this woman is going to be a target. This woman is going to be a target because the beginning fits the narrative, right? Brian Krasenstein, do it right in there. The beginning fits it. That brutal agent shot her and killed her. Innocent woman. But then she goes on. She was a protester. She was impeding traffic. She was doing this. The leftists are not going to be too happy with this woman. They are just not going to be too happy with her because she said too much. Should have shut her mouth. So people need to watch and please protect this woman. She is just someone that gave her recollection of the story. So Nate's saying, if it's true, she's a mom. What a deplorable mom to put illegals ahead of your own children. So again, Nate, we're going to get to a little more background about the woman who was shot. Ran the fucking raccoon. So yeah, as I was saying, whether she was trying to flee or trying to kill the officer, she made a fool's choice. Sadly got the worst outcome in the end. So the consequences of her actions. Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Like, I don't think anyone's denying that this is a tragedy, that this is a sad thing. That absolutely no one wants to see somebody get killed. But there are consequences to actions. But this also gives the left exactly what they want. So, all right, let's see some dumb reactions. Let's look at the first one. Predictably, one of the resident retards on the left as well. Harry Sisson. ICE just killed someone in broad daylight in Minneapolis. This shit has to stop. We cannot keep doing this. Now, again, Harry Sisson is one of the people that fan these flames. He's one of the people that consistently fans these types of flames of action against conservatives. And now let's go back to Brian Krasenstein, our resident dumbass. Okay. And I'm going to have us focus on something here. OMFG, this is so sick. The woman's wife was right there. She was allegedly serving as a legal observer. Fuck ICE. So I highlighted that because that you guys will see thrown around by a lot of lefties. This is a term they are trying to get in vogue. Legal observer. So what does a legal observer mean, everyone? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Okay? This is an activist term. This isn't a legal term. There is no such thing as a legal observer. That is not a term in a court of law that cannot be used to excuse actions. So this is a term thrown around. Random fucking raccoon saying, I'm far from denying that it is sad that she was killed, but I think that it was still her fault regardless. I mean, she decided to fuck with armed officers with her car, which can kill, mind you. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely and totally, raccoon. So let's go why I highlighted this, because I don't care about what's underneath. I don't give a shit what Ed Krasenstein has to say. Because Libs of TikTok had, the narrative went out The woman who tried to kill ICE agents was a quote unquote legal observer. Who writes the identical talking points for Democrats? So I don't know how well you guys can see this, because the one thing that Elon needs to get better about is making these pictures easier to zoom. So I will just read these to you, because like I said, it is not easy for you guys probably to read all this shit. So first, Jerry Nadler. ICE murdered an American citizen and legal observer in broad daylight today. The video of the incident clearly shows that officers fired shots as the victim was driving away from the scene and not towards law enforcement, which is bullshit. We saw the video, right? Congress must investigate this and qualified immunity for ICE agents and hold the administration accountable for terrorizing our community. So again, not surprising. So Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, who the fuck, we have no idea who that is. ICE just murdered a legal observer in Minnesota. Again, a word that doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. She was driving away from the scene, not towards law enforcement, so any self-defense claims are bogus. Look, they are verbatim here, guys. This is what police states look like, and Secretary No and President Trump are responsible. Again, hold them accountable. They're responsible. CARE National. So CARE is the whatchamacallit, Islamic, something like that. They're fucking terrorists. ICE agents are not above the law. This is the message our CARE Minnesota Executive Director Jaylani Hussein just delivered on the street, where an ICE agent shot a legal observer in the face, killing her. Local law enforcement must conduct an independent investigation into this shooting. Untrained ICE agents have been sparking conflict and wreaking havoc on people across the country, including American citizens. This must end. So it's funny, they're saying untrained. Like they know what the fuck the training is, these people. California Endowment. I have no idea who they are, but they're a part of it. Breaking. ICE shoots and kills legal observer in Minneapolis during the largest immigration operation ever. Sending immigration officers to our communities doesn't bring safety. It brings fear, instability, and death. This killing of a legal observer continues to set precedent for continued violence and unchecked federal power. None of this is normal. And that's funny coming from California, right? A Gestapo state. Let's continue. Ilhan Omar. I'm following news of a reported shooting of a legal observer by ICE agents in South Minneapolis. I'll continue to monitor the situation closely and will update as soon as I receive information. ICE must stop terrorizing our communities and leave our city. Congresswoman Maxine Dexter, don't know who she is. ICE just shot and killed a U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. She was a legal observer. ICE shot her. This is what a police state looks like. I stand with Mayor Fry's call for ICE to get out of Minneapolis immediately. Their presence makes no one safer. And again, we keep on seeing this term over and over and over. Ed Krasenstein, she was serving as a legal observer, witness, New Republic. ICE just shot a legal observer in the face multiple times. So like Libs of TikTok said, the notes went out, and this all the shit they're saying is almost verbatim, and they make it obvious, and social media at least makes it easier to see. And now, guys, watch. They are going to start defining what legal observer is. Start telling you that it's always been there. Start letting you know that you're the stupid one. You're the idiot for not knowing what a legal observer is, and that they've always been there. They've always been a thing. Watch, that's coming. That's coming next. Now that they've used the term, now that they've gotten it in parlance, now that they are going to your dumbass liberal aunt, uncle, cousin's wife, shit like that, anyone, whoever the fuck it is, best friend, all these dumbasses are going to start and saying, well, you know, she was just a legal observer. And when you ask them, where did you even hear that? Well, CNN said it. I saw it on X. I saw it on Facebook. They're full of shit. Because the same people are going to tell you she was just a legal observer have never heard that term before at that time either. So, random fucking raccoon saying, and again, it shows how far people will believe the witness to the crime when really they should take it with a grain of salt as a base to go off of rather than the full story. Agreed. And Raccoon saying, what the fuck is a legal observer? I've never heard of that. Is it just the fact that my first language isn't English, or what is it? It doesn't exist, Raccoon. It doesn't exist. It wasn't a thing. This has never been a normal parlance. This is like, Mean Girls, Fetch isn't going to catch on. you're going to see the media run with this. You're going to see all these individuals keep saying it. Because the thing is with leftists, and this is a tactic and a ploy, the more they say something, the more they try to make it reality. They do this with so many things. They'll have a buzzword. They'll repeat it, even though it has no meaning or a different meaning. And they will turn it into theirs, right? So watch out for this because it's not a thing. Legal Observer is not a fucking thing. So I want to go to Mayor Fry. Because Mayor Fry, the Minneapolis mayor, went the fuck off. And here's a 7-minute thing. Gunther Eagleman has it. Jacob Fry is a madman. Let's see.
After a fatal shooting involving ICE.
A lot of information that is swirling around right now, and we collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know...
So here's one thing that these leftist politicians took from their Lord and Savior, Barrio. Barack Obama automatically always sided with the victim. Whether it was something legal or not, he always sided with the victim against law enforcement. And we're going to see Jacob Fry do the same exact thing. Ran the fucking raccoon. How the fuck do you legally observe something, especially since she was the problem and not the observer? She wasn't even a normal observer, let alone a legal one. She wasn't an observer at all. Also, that's kind of scary because English isn't my first language, so I could 100% fall for something like that, thinking it's just my fault for not fully being perfect with the English language. Well, I'm happy you found us then, because I'm here to let you know that I've been alive for 37 years. I've liked politics most of my life. I paid attention. I've never before yesterday heard the term legal observer. It was never a thing. Let's continue. We got 7 minutes of Mayor Fry.
Is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis.
Here's the thing. He's doing a really good performance because the bottom line is, no, he hasn't. He's a leftist. You want to know what happened when they found out that ICE killed her? And this is going to sound morbid. This is going to make me sound mean. People might clip this and make me sound evil for it. I guarantee him, all the other leftists with him, were happy. Because they got it. They got the overreaction. Their rules for radicals has come into play now. They've gotten the overreaction they wanted. Legal or not, whether the cop is in the right, whoever does the overreaction is in the right, all of a sudden, you're seeing it now, all of a sudden, they got their overreaction. You're going to see what it goes on. They're now going to sit there and blame only the law enforcement. Because the actions of the person does not matter. Because people don't remember what happened before. It only remember the incident. And they will always turn themselves into the victim. And this is what's going on. They are doing an organized campaign now to sit there and not only turn her into the victim, but everyone. We're all the victim of this shooting.
Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust.
And the thing is, if there was just participation from people like Mayor Fry, none of this shit would happen. But what he doesn't tell you is he's not letting his police assist ICE in some of these operations. He's telling them to stand down. He's being obstructive. He's causing the chaos by not helping. Raccoon saying they got someone to die, so now they're going to take it and run away from the truth of the story and what is right and wrong and just focus on the fact that I shot someone. Exactly.
They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people.
So here's the thing, and I love, they're ripping families apart. So it's a good thing. Someone's doing something illegal. You don't want them near families. We take people away, and I've heard this done before, and you guys have probably heard it said before too. People get taken away from their families all the time if they commit crimes. We don't cry when that shit happens. This is the fakest, dumbest fucking narrative they use all the time about ICE going and getting rid of illegal immigrants, criminal aliens. They're ripping apart families. So don't do illegal shit.
So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense.
Which it is.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit.
So the thing is, the way that they lie is so impressive. This is the one impressive thing about leftists. They are really good at lying. Really good. And shame on all those law enforcement officers behind them. Shame on all of them.
This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. As soon as it happened and we learned of the incident, we had several priorities. The first, of course, was to get the victim to the hospital and to get care as soon as possible. And to the family, I'm so deeply sorry.
So the thing is, too, they never focus on what the person did in these situations. They only talk about the fact that they were killed, not what led up to it, because they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to speak on why. They only focused on all the shit that happened after. Random fucking raccoon saying, I am scared for anyone that legitimately tries to become a U.S. citizen because I'm sure they get treated very poorly in general. That's not true. If you are legally trying to come in and you're working hard, you have a visa and you're working towards your green card, and you are actively wanting to be a member of this country, if you are actively trying to be better for your community and you're not trying to skate around and do it the wrong way, then no, people really don't treat you poorly. Most people treat you just fine. You're a racist. You're a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. But most people would be like, cool, welcome. We're happy you're here. As long as you're making the community better by giving your skill, whatever your skill is, come in, do your skill, make this place a better place, and people are generally happy. Random saying, at least with the way it is looking, all this drama cannot be easy at all. I'm saying it's also scary how easily people believe shit like this. Not gonna lie, it's true. It's true. And listen, the leftists make this country look so much worse than it actually is.
There's nothing that I can say right now that's going to make you or your relatives or the friends of the victim feel any better. There were, I believe, 2 Minneapolis police officers that responded and were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The second was to get ICE off of the scene.
So get ICE off of the scene. That's not your job. I mean, once you come and take over, I guess, but like at that point, that was ICE's scene. They were impeding a federal operation, which you aren't helping with. ICE is there doing their job. Random fucking raccoon saying, I've heard people in America treat people who come here to become a U.S. citizen, get bullied for trying to get a job, and treat it like a nuisance rather than a welcome human. That's not true. That's not true. I think that, you have some people that feel that way, but generally, if you're just here, you're here legally trying to do your best. I mean, you can have it a little tough, obviously, language barrier, things like that. And you might get poked fun at, but listen, from what I found growing up as an American, if people like you, they fuck with you. That's honestly what it is. If people like you, they mess with you. And you joke around, you rib each other, you take it, you give it. But if you're trying to do things the right way, most people are just going to be like, cool, hi. Both of my grandparents were immigrants. My dad's side was from Ecuador. My mom's side was from Italy. My dad's side, they had it rough. They came here. They lived in a real shitty part of New Jersey in Newark. But they grinded. They worked, and their job was to make their kids' lives better. And my father ended up giving me a good life, living in a better area. When he met my mother, both of his siblings moved to better areas, right where we were from, right in South Jersey, Central Jersey, right by Seaside Heights over there. And they ended up having better lives. They were kids of immigrants. I'm second generation. And my other side, my grandfather came after the Second World War, before my grandmother, and he came to establish himself and work, and he did. And then once he was established, my grandmother came over, and they had their family over in North Jersey. Not as bad of a part as my dad, but not a great part. But they worked hard, and they were accepted just from hard work. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy when you're going somewhere that's new, that doesn't share your culture. That's not easy. And some of those differences do come in. But generally, if you come here and you work hard, you keep your head down, and you be a decent person, most people are going to be cool with you. Just be a decent person and work hard. Random fucking raccoon saying that's news to me. Random raccoon saying, I wonder how the translator feels translating this. Probably no problem, because they're in a leftist area, and that person, look at that shaved fucking head. She's a leftist. I'm saying, well, that's reassuring. At least it should. If you're not an American and you want to become on Random fucking raccoon, as long as you do it the right way, come on over. Come on over. Come apply for your citizenship. Try and get in the right way. It's long. It's arduous. It's not cheap, from what I've heard. But it should be hard to go into someone else's country and become a citizen. You should want to share their culture. You should want to become one of them and work hard and make that place better. And I think that's what they try to do for me personally, I've said it before. I think being an American citizen should be one of the hardest things on the planet. I think our test should be harder, not easier. Because we do have a lot to offer here. And we are, the place in the world that gives people the most if you work your tail off. It's not perfect. You're not guaranteed success, but it can happen. So yeah, come on over. He said, I hear it's easier if you have a loved one in America to vouch for you. I mean, possibly. It might be easier. One of the big things that helps is if you know English and speak the language. That certainly helps. Even if it's broken English, that helps. Knowing English certainly helps, because people at least look at it and you can have it. The communication barrier is always hard, but it does help. And it also depends on what part of the country you go to. There are, there's big differences in the places you go. Some places seem more welcoming, but they want to segregate and they're very bigoted. A lot of your major cities are that way. They seem welcoming, but then they shove you in a fucking corner. And then you can go places that are a little more suburban and it's a little bit of a hodgepodge and they are there. Or you can go somewhere which is a little more, a little more southern, and they might look at you a little funny when you get there, but then you'll become one of them quickly. It's all about just, you can keep your own culture, but you also need to want to engage in ours. And I think that's what the immigrants used to do is, trying, they used to come here and they used to want to blend into what they believed American culture was. And we used to kind of demand that of our immigrants, and we've lost that. So as long as if you come here, you try to speak the language, you try to embrace American culture, then you're good. Then you should be fine. Some things might be tough. You might encounter some assholes, don't get me wrong, but you should be okay. Random fucking raccoon, I understand why it should be hard, though. If it was easy, then many more people would invade, and it likely allows for a higher chance of illegals. And that's what happened with under Biden. 4 years, open borders, it poured in. You know English well. You know it's not perfect. You have a problem spelling a lot of the time, but your English and handwriting is very bad. But you can read and speak fine. So that's good. Listen, everything will get better and better. But as long as you have the basics, if you can read it, speak it, and then you can learn to write it and stuff better, you'll be good. You'll be good. I don't know where you're from, but I'm not one of the people that's like, no, we don't need any. No, I still like my immigrants. I'm a family. I'm second generation. So I'm not going to keep immigrants out that want to make this place better. You won't catch me doing that. Let's keep rolling.
There were dozens, if not hundreds, of ICE and federal officers that were there at the time. Having them there was only causing more chaos.
And here's where they add this line. They were not causing chaos. The protesters were causing chaos. If ICE goes in and just does their job and gets out, yes, the moments that they get in there could be chaotic because they're going to do law enforcement. Law enforcement can get hectic. But it's the protesters that end up causing the problems, not the ICE agent.
Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves.
See, he's full of shit.
There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message.
What you could say is protesters need to stop protesting and impeding law enforcement. That's what you could say. This is a tragic situation that was avoidable. Do not impede law enforcement. If you like to protest, but do not impede the operations of law enforcement officials. That is what he could say, but he can't do that. He won't do that. He's a leftist. Leftists don't do that. All right, so random fucking raccoon saying, I live in America and I'm an American citizen, but my family raised me with my nationality's language and whatnot, so I didn't learn it until around the 3rd grade. At least reading and writing took me until about the 3rd grade. Oh, so you're an American. You're good. Listen, it is what it is. Families raise their kids differently. But listen, you're just as American as everyone else, man. Or woman. I don't know which one, if you're a boy or a girl, but you are just as American as everyone else. Don't, even if you got some broken English and shit like that, you're fine. Work your ass off. Try to, again, nothing wrong with keeping a part of your culture, but also embrace America and you're in, man. Just work hard. Work hard. Use whatever skill God gave you and, worry about using that skill to the best of your ability. And as long as you do that, it'll help make our society better because everyone using whatever skill God gave them to then give to others, it's how it works. That's how we work. We got a long way to go. Let's keep going with this jerk off.
Message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
And they love being this edgy, right? They are so edgy. Get the fuck out of Minneapolis. I'm tough. Shut the fuck up. Nothing tough about Jacob Fry. And they're not getting out of Minneapolis. Because you guys have become a sanctuary. You let Minneapolis be a sanctuary city. So, you know what? Stop being a sanctuary city. And then they'll leave. Make their lives easier. But until you stop letting illegals flood your area, then they have a job to do. Period. Random Raccoon, I tend to have an accent when I'm either very angry or very calm, and it's kind of funny. But normally, I do not. I mean, that's okay. Having an accent's not a big thing. People think I have an accent because I'm from Jersey. And you go to other places, they could tell either I'm a Jersey boy or a Northeast boy. You go down south, they know I'm not one of them. I'm a Yankee. There's different accents everywhere. They're edgy like me. Shut up, Rollin. You jerk. Random Raccoon, he looks like a basic Caucasian that got bullied in school and now has power and intends to be very edgy. Yes, that's exactly what he is.
We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
Their stated reason is to get illegals out of a sanctuary city that you allowed them to pour in, to then create a safer environment for the American citizens that are not as safe when there are illegals around. Period. That's just what it is.
People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart.
Saying the families thing.
Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead.
A protest.
That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done.
And again, very easy. Just say, don't get in front of federal law enforcement. That's it. Random Raccoon saying, don't get me wrong. I got bullied in school, but it was like old school 1990s American high school style bullying. I had the right to cry. He looks like he got called names in his life. Thing is, you don't hear me crying. I mean, hey, we all got a little ribbing. Random Raccoon saying, now I know how to fight well and I adapted past childhood struggles and traumas. That's good. That's good. But hey, listen, we all got it. Listen, I was friends with a lot of people when I got bullied. You know, it all happens. And it's like, it's all how you take it, right? I don't think mine was too bad. But there were moments where it got to everyone. You know, we all get ribbed. We all get made fun of, and we all get in our feels a little bit, especially when you're hitting puberty in high school, middle school, and stuff. That's tough. You're trying to figure out where to fit in. It's not always easy. None of that shit's easy.
We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now, and justice is what we've all got to get. Next, a message to our community.
All right. I'm not interested in anything else he has to say. Jacob Fry's a jerk off. He's a terrible mayor. And, you know, he's not doing the job. He's not doing the job. So this was that police officer who's talking 44 seconds here about what had happened.
Tell us any more about the woman who was fatally shot. Was she there as a legal observer, protester, bystander? What do you know that you can share?
So again, there's that term, was she there as a legal observer, bystander? So that the media apparatus knowing what to say there. Legal observer is not a thing, y'all. They are going to try to make this. They are going to try to make this a thing.
Question was, what can I share about the deceased? There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity. This woman was in her car, and it appears then blocking the street because of the presence of federal law enforcement.
So saying it nicely, she was a protester who was blocking the way of a federal law enforcement operation. He just said that in so many words without like being as accusatory.
Which is obviously something that has been happening, not just in Minneapolis, but around the country. She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
So in so many words, he didn't want to say it. She was a protester protesting. And it's unfortunate what happened to her. But the reality is when you are going to go in there and do that, then this type of shit happens. Brandon fucking Raccoon saying mine was bad and really didn't stop until around 11th grade for me because that's when I started learning how to fight. Is sometimes being able to put up your dukes does help. That is sometimes helpful. So this is a quick one. Tim Walz threatening to mobilize a National Guard to keep the federal government out of Minnesota. And we'll look at the community note down there in a second. And they said literally Civil War style rhetoric. This is Right Angle News Network. I've never really heard of them, but they exist. That's at least where this is from. So give them credit for that. So let's see what the almost vice president.
They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait.
Nonsense. Nonsense, because it's exactly what they want.
We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Porter.
So there's that. Now we go down to the community note here. It says, readers out of context they thought you might want to know. As governor, Tim Walz can deploy his National Guard for a variety of missions. But the U.S. Constitution Supremacy Clause prohibits use of force by a state for purposes of thwarting or defeating federal law, which is properly defined as a rebellion. So, he is committing a potential act of rebellion here. This could be enough. Now, he's already under hot water for the fraud. This could be enough for them to go in and arrest him. Now, again, it's what he wants. It's what the leftists want. But at the same time, we have to be in the who gives a fuck phase, okay? At this point, we have to be in who gives a fuck phase. We don't have to justify things that are legal, right? Like, we can all acknowledge it's a tragedy the woman got shot, but that's where it stops because she tried to run over a federal law enforcement agent, and that's it. He threatened, he felt the fear of his life, he acted in self-defense. She was a protester who was there protesting, trying to impede a federal operation. She was wrong, and she played a game and lost. And that's all we need to do. She was wrong. That's it. There's no question. There's no arguing. There's nothing like that. Nothing. So Random Raccoon saying, see, another big thing I see as a flaw here is like, okay, so ICE is gone. Now, what do you as the leader do to stop the problems? Nothing. They want the problems. They want the problems. Random fucking Raccoon saying, despite hating ICE so much, I do not see you taking any action yourself to start taking your own measures since ICE is so bad. Like, how would your officers act so differently in the exact scenario? The thing is, Raccoon, they don't want to take action because the individuals bring in these types of people. They bring in illegal immigrants and stuff like that, not for votes, right? Because a lot of people like to misconstrue, oh, it's because they get votes. And they typically don't. The illegals typically don't vote. They do in certain cases. Typically, they don't vote. What it is that illegals are counted in the census. So when they are counted in the census, what it is they give an area like a Minneapolis, which is a typically very blue area, a very Democrat area, another representative. So this is for the long game for federal and for state type of stuff. And even within Minnesota, because the number of individuals you have in an area determines how many different wards are in your Minneapolis, how many different sections are in state and how many different representatives you get. So they want these individuals there because they get counted in the census to give them more power. This is all a power play. This has nothing to do with people. They don't give a fuck about the people at all. Never have. We're in the Raccoon saying, why would they not want to take action if this is just an innocence and belief in the fact that they want what is better for the people and not for themselves? Or am I just confused? They don't. They want what's best for themselves, period, not for the people. These individuals do not care about the people. They are might is right type of people. Tim Waltz, Jacob Fry, they like power. And they're leftists. And the leftist theory is constant revolution. They want to keep things in constant chaos and in constant revolution. That is what they are doing. So here is a response from Vice President Vance about the way the media has been responding to things here. So let's see what Vice President Vance had to say.
When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it. And that is...
So real quick, Random Raccoon saying, hold on. You're giving me a lot here. It says, well, how the hell do they get voted in? How are people voting for leaders that don't care about them? I don't get it. That just seems plain and simply stupid. It's because they lie. They lie and they say they're going to give them handouts and they say they're going to help them and they say that the handouts are going to make their lives better and they never do. And they speak to people and they speak about emotional things, emotional social things that they can't truly affect and fool people into getting them to vote for them. That is what it is. And they never improve anybody's lives. What they do is they will give individuals the basics in order to keep them in the same situation they're in or maybe slightly improve it. But the fact that they keep these people under the government boot by their hands out makes these people fully reliant on them. They don't encourage them to really go to work and improve themselves. They encourage them to do just enough to live in subsistence and rely on the government. And that is exactly what they want. And that is how they want to keep them, because for the leftists, right? For the leftists, as long as people need the government, then they have a purpose. If people don't need the government, then there's no reason for a leftist to exist. Sorry, let's jump in with JD Vance.
Is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day.
And this is where people really like JD Vance, because difference in Trump is he is forceful and aggressive, and he speaks in a layman term while also not at the same time. He is good with that. He's a good politician. And right here, he is showing the type of emotion, but the controlled type of emotion that people like to see in a leader. Random fucking raccoon saying, so it's just a slightly higher advanced manipulation. Yes, it is. And also saying, I feel like we should really teach people proper psychology in high school for reasons exactly like this. The issue, raccoon, is the problem is a lot of people aren't super smart. And that's mean to say, but they are easily manipulated because they're very emotionally driven. They're not incredibly mature people. Most people aren't very mature. So when you get a whole bunch of immature people and you start emotionally speaking to them, that's all they hear and that's all they want. And he says, and hell, at this point, social classes and teach people about how to do their own research and how to properly look out for things like this, rather than just insanely believing what they see. The thing is, people don't want to have their beliefs broken, raccoon. People want to stay in their little bubble and they want to believe what they want to believe. And the thing is, and the key for me is, I don't argue with anybody. I don't argue in person. I'll have a debate, but I don't argue on social media or online. I don't care. I don't care about what people online have to say. You're not going to change anybody's view or opinion online. You're really not going to change it in person, but at least in person, you can at least have a conversation and kind of do things like that. It's better. But I mean, you're not going to change them. And even teaching them in high school, most people don't fucking pay attention in high school. So trying to talk to a kid about the psychology to not get manipulated, they're just still going to listen to whatever their parents want them to do, whether it's conservative or leftist. Let's keep rolling.
What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile?
So that right there was one of the things I didn't like, that Vance said that. Because while a guy, I appreciate the fact that 6 months ago, he's doing his job, he got dragged by a vehicle, and the fact that he wanted to get back out there and continue to do his job, valiant. But that's not an excuse to say he's sensitive. Because what that just did, that JD Vance just did there, is he gave the leftists the whole entire trigger happy excuse. Because they're going to take that clip and go, oh, the guy was traumatized 6 months ago. He shouldn't have been on the job. They're going to be able to take something like that he said and pin it back onto the agent. Because me personally, if that's the case, then yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been there. So I don't know. I didn't like that part from Vance because it gave the leftist fuel. Raccoon saying, was I the only one that actually learned anything in high school? I'm not very old personally. I'm a young adult. So like people cannot actually be this, well, to put it bluntly, stupid. And unfortunately they are. Let's keep rolling.
What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws.
So there was good Vance. Very good Vance. Saying exactly and hitting on all the right points when it comes to that. Let's keep rolling.
The president stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
So I truly enjoyed JD Vance outside of, you know, that little plausible deniability thing about like he was hurt in advance. Like I get it. Again, valiant, but shouldn't be used as an excuse because that makes it seem like he was trigger happy. Random fucking raccoon saying, and the thing is, I wasn't a nerd. I played around and didn't really get my work done because for some reason I see it often that people, especially teachers, associate with IQ with and worth with your ability to get work done. I mean, here's the thing: it's all they can go off of, though. They're interacting with you, and their only interaction is um, based off of that, and they are forced now, especially more than ever, to teach through tests a lot of the ways. So it's harder for them to break down and really get to know you more and more. It's getting tough for a lot of teachers out there. It says, but like I took what I saw valuable and learned, and we all learn in different ways. So here's what we're going to do, team. It's already 2 hours in. I have a New York Post article explaining a little more and a whole bunch of reaction, but we are going to save some of that reaction for tomorrow because I'll be back tomorrow and we can kind of dive into who the individual was that tried to hit the ICE agent and then got killed. But I want to jump to right here, just quickly. Disclose TV had today. Now, this is right after. Just in, 2 people shot by federal agents in Portland, Oregon. And that's all they had. And now we got the release at 7:52 from Homeland Security about what happened over there. At 2:19 Pacific Standard Time, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. So they were going after 2 individuals that are gang members. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Fearing for his life and safety, the agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. Situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. So since that and before, I haven't seen more about this, and we could talk more about this tomorrow as this goes. But yeah, no, this is another thing going on. And like I said, we will get to more tomorrow. I just wanted to touch on that because this is developing. We'll absolutely talk more about this tomorrow. So before we do that, Raccoon, I will answer your question here. So let's pop back up. Boop, boop. Oh, no. Caveat. Your work Christmas party's tomorrow night. That's okay. You can always watch later, or we could talk a little bit. Honestly, I'll probably be talking Saturday about it too. Listen, I plan on being around most days. So we'll get a chance, Caveat. Roland, we'll talk. And even if not, we could always chat on the other side. Okay. So let me answer, Raccoon. You said to remind you the other night. Yes, and I'm happy you did. Told me to remind you, answer my question on why I think the youth of America is far from completely brain rotted and screwed, despite everything on the internet. Okay, so I'll try to keep this concise. So the reason why I think that the youth of America is not fully brain rotted and screwed is the main reason is, so my job is to interact with a ton of kids as a driving instructor. I teach a lot of individuals how to drive, and they are 16, 17, 18, young 20s, things like that. One of the main reasons why I am starting to have more faith in the youth, they know what's happening to them. They know that TikTok, Instagram, social media, in general, is a toxin. They get it. Now, do they still use it? Yes. Yes. But a lot of them get it. They know what's going on. And I think COVID opened up a lot of eyes. I don't know if we get this level of understanding from this generation without COVID kind of opening up everybody's eyes to a lot of the shit going on. But I truly think that this generation knows what's going on, knows the manipulation, knows all that type of stuff. And they're not dumb to it. And there's a lot of them I talk to, and I deal with hundreds of kids all the time that are trying to limit the use of their phones, are trying to limit the use of TikTok, Instagram, Reels, Snapchat, all of this stuff, Instagram in general. They're trying to limit it. How successful they're being, I don't know. But what this tells me is that their understanding of this is going to trickle into how they raise their potential kids and what they start to do as young adults, 20-year-olds, late 20s, early 30s, when they start to become people that need to make decisions and need to have impacts on the world. Do I think they're ever going to truly let go of social media? No. Same way we can't, right? I'm on social media. I still use all the social medias. I need to a lot of the way to try and promote the show, but I'm not innocent when it comes to social media. They know what's being done to them. They understand it. They get it. You have some of them that are trying to be influencers and stuff like that. And that's, again, we have to accept that that's just a market now. That's a part of like the job parlance is individuals being influencers. And I don't know how long that's going to last, but it'll be part of it. Listen, we've all, if it wasn't the influencer, we were trying to be singers, rappers, rock stars. We were trying to be actors and actresses. We were trying to be athletes. There was always that new shiny toy that we were all trying to become. And influencer is now one. When Vine was around, there was who was going to get the next viral Vine. And that's the thing. We were all trying to go viral. YouTube was about going viral. And this is the new thing. So the reason why I'm not black-pilled on this next generation is just talking to them. They get it. At least the ones I'm speaking to anecdotally, they get it. They understand. And a lot of them also aren't foolish. They see the dumb shit they're trying to be taught. They see the trans ideology trying to be pushed on them. They see a lot of the feminist values that they don't align with and don't agree with. And they now have more freedom to talk about it because of the way the cultural shifts have changed. And this is why, as adults now, we need to keep fighting on these cultural grounds as well. Because if we see this ground as adults, then the kids have no balance to fight on as well. So I think that they are going to raise their kids differently. That they're going to be more guarded. I think there's actions we're taking as parents because we are becoming aware. Jonathan Haidt's Anxious Generation is flooding across schools. I'm a part of a parent group in my school, which is going to do our best with our young kids in trying to keep them off social media till at least they're like 16. Trying not to give them phones until possibly 8th grade. At least a group of us are going to try and do it. We're going to try and educate parents on the harms of social media and smartphone use. And try and really make a concerted effort as parents to give that younger generation a leg up because we know. And the generation that's caught, that knows it, that is going through it now, they're going to see this type of change as well. And they are going to fight back as well because if we're leading the charge as the generation ahead of them, it will also make it easier for them as well. It needs to be a team effort on doing it, but I do see that they're self-aware. I do see that they know what's going on. And I think every generation thinks the generations underneath them are lazier, dumber, etc., right? But they're not. They're capable. My millennial generation, I think we kind of suck. I think we dropped the ball on a lot of things because we were fed a whole bunch of bullshit as well. We were one of the generations fed go to college. When you go to college, you're guaranteed a $100,000 job coming out of it. And it's not true. But it's the crow that we have to eat. We decided to go to school. We got to figure it out, right? On the back end. We're also the generation that, because of that, though, is going to our kids. If you need a degree that you want a job that's going to need that degree, fine, but don't just go to college to go. That's pointless. If you don't want to go to college, you don't have to right away. You can take a gap year. The gap year is becoming a big thing. Or get in a trade. Go do a trade, go do a skill, go do something that could be a career. That's not necessarily something that you need a diploma for. Go get a certificate. Go get something. There's plenty of other jobs that you don't need a diploma for that make good money, that are valuable to society, that society has lost because everyone went to go get a diploma. So I do see just a broader change in thinking. So I think there's a broader change in thinking societally. And I think that has also helped because these kids now understand what's happening to them on social media. And that they know the negatives and how they're being manipulated and those types of things. So that is why I think that this generation and the generation beneath them have a chance. And it's up to us, actually. That's the thing. It's us to the adults. Because they're not going to do it on their own. Even the kids in high school coming out, kids in college, we know that they are just kids, okay? When I was in college, I thought I was hot shit. I was 18 to 22, 23. I thought I knew things. Now that I'm older, I realize I was not a real fucking person, okay? My responsibility was to get up, feed myself, make sure my clothes are clean the house a little, and make my ass go to class and practice. That's not responsibility. I didn't really like to pay for shit. I wasn't worried about car payments, house payments, things breaking, fixing things, having other lives to worry about with kids, anything like that. None of that. It's a stepping stone because you gain more responsibility than you had in high school, but I still wasn't a real person. So as adults, it's our job to continue to foster and help these next generations by leading them. And the ones that are dealing with this shit with the social media, it's not our job to chastise them. Okay, we can make fun of them when they say dumb fucking shit or do dumb things. Sure. And we can shame them when they need to. I think public shaming needs to become a thing again. We need to shame people because there are societally acceptable things and things that aren't societally acceptable. And we need to do a good shaming to kind of reshape people when they're doing something that is fully out of the norm. You want to do weird shit in your house that's not illegal behind your closed doors? Go be a fucking weirdo in your house all you want. If it comes out the public and the public rejects it, then it's a good way to check people. We need to start doing those things again. And we are. And I think we slowly are. But we need to keep fighting. We can't get complacent. Our issue is we get complacent. We get a victory. We go, okay, cool. And then we get knocked out. Oh, we have to fight again. We just need to keep on going and keep on going. And there are individuals now, especially with social media, that understand that and don't give up, right? Christopher Rufo is a good example. Corey DeAngelis, they're good examples, right? They are one track on the school thing. And regardless of anything else that's going around, they are dealing with school choice, getting that type of shit done. We need them people. We need people like that don't get involved in everything, that are focused. We've had on Moms for Liberty. We had on both founders at one point, Tiffany Justice and Tina Deskovich. They're fucking fantastic. Their goal, get people elected on school boards and stuff like that locally that are going to make sure that the kids are being taught the right thing and they're not being abused. There is no fucking, girls aren't being taken advantage of. No one's being forced to learn DEI and social justice bullshit. Awesome. You need those people who are focused. And as adults, we need to continue to do that. We cannot give up. So let me get to the last few comments and then I'm going to get out of here. Random fucking raccoon. I hope that I answered your question, at least to my best of my ability. And I hope that I gave you something satisfactory. Random fucking raccoon saying, I mean, as long as they're trying to understand and learn, then that is all we can ask for. You think a lot of them are very self-aware if what they are doing and what they do and do not take in. That is somewhat nice to hear. Random fucking raccoon saying, I just go to college to further my knowledge in psychology and whatnot. And that's okay too, as long as on the back end, you know that you're going to want to go and work at something and, or can figure out a way to parlay, a liberal arts degree. Like I was a history major, AKA I majored in zero. I majored in nothing. I was going to try to be a teacher. I drank too much one year and my GPA was not good. So I salvaged a history degree, and I there's value in the history degree. I learned how to research. I know a good amount about the section of history I wanted to know. It helped me be able to learn more things, and I like reading boring shit. There's value to that. But in reality, if I went to school for history, I went to school for nothing. Liberal arts, it's not back in the friggin' BC and AD era where the liberal arts where they made you the thinkers of society. No, most liberal arts degrees don't give you much. You have to attach it with something in order for it to gain value. And that's just how it is. Caveat is saying I took a 4-year gap year. Hey, listen, as long as whatever you needed, you did, right? And you needed to take some time, get yourself established, and then you were ready to go. And that's not a bad thing. Random fucking raccoon. I pretty much go to college for the passion of psychology, but in terms of life things and becoming a real adult, trying to find a job and start saving money for some things. And listen, that's not a bad thing to learn psychology, and there is room, right? You can hustle and become a psychologist. There's still room for that. It's not like you can't use your degree. You can further schooling as well too. The value of a liberal arts degree is you can go, and anyone with a liberal arts degree can go to law school. So you could there's things you can do with it, but that's awesome. You're learning about it. And, but again, at least also you said you're smart enough to know like, hey, I'm probably not going to use this in the real world. So I need to figure out a thing, and there's plenty to do. And, like a car, house of living, caveat Ty saying, go to the army. Could go to the army, could go to any of the armed services. Those are all great things to do. But if you don't want to, there's also plenty of things to do because I worked in a union for 5 years, and there are plenty of really smart people that work in a union. I was a union insulator. So if you want to go become a union brother, you can go work in a union or just in construction in general. So there's plenty of that. Now you might get pissed off by some of the politics in the union. Most of them are smart people that think like us, but there's some dumbasses. But that's every walk of life. It doesn't matter where you go. You're going to have people you like, people you dislike. Random fucking raccoon saying it's just a fake message. They tell you that you will instantly get the psychology job. Oh yeah, no, they have to do that. But then you look at like the rate of hiring in a psychology job, and if they add law school, it gets higher. If they add people that went to graduate degrees and things like that, but it's typically not very high for your liberal arts. It's just the reality. Your STEMs get the jobs right now. Caveat Ty saying that's what I did. I remember you told me you did your armed service. But all right, I'm gonna get out of here. 2 hours plus. Talk to my dad. He's like, you're doing like 2 hour 20 streams. I can't keep up with every day, but I'm sorry, Dad. Keep the fuck up with it. You don't have a choice. But yeah, tomorrow we'll cover some more stuff from the Minneapolis fallout. We'll definitely have more details about Portland at that time too, so we could talk about that. We'll see, take a look at Iran. Maybe I'll find some things a little more light again, and maybe lead off with the more light stuff, because I think that helps. Because if I don't, then I get bogged down with all the heavy stuff and we get into the 2 hours and I can't do the light stuff. So maybe we'll do the light stuff, more of the gaming, more of the sports, entertainment shit first. And then after that, we'll jump into the heavier stuff. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much. Random fucking raccoon, if you can be a good lawyer, go get it. Go to law school, go do it. We can always use some more lawyers. And then if you get a law degree, you could just go be a politician. So go do that. But all right, everyone, thank you so much. Raccoon, Caveat, Nate, I see you all. Thank you very much. I will be back tomorrow night. Bye, y'all.